Hi guys, this is Vidas.
And Usha.
Let's start episode 134 of Ask Vidas and Usha podcast. This question was sent by Bruce, and he writes, "Thanks for extending my review period of Total Organist. It will be a help. I will be traveling most of December, taking care of family, and won't be able to get to the organ bench. Thanks for asking what I'm currently struggling with. My main initial goals will be those of a pianist who wishes to extend into the organ. I'm thinking some things will be especially new to me. For example, pedalwork, of course. It's a real mind twister for me to play pedals while keeping my left hand doing what it is supposed to do. It's weird how getting my brain to accept that footwork is necessarily independent of bass lines as processed by the left hand. Fascinating, actually. I'm hoping it will be fun to work this out. From your inventory of teaching aids, I expect I'll start with your pedal chords and also look into your course in left hand skills. And I welcome your advice on how to get started with pedals. First of all, let's congratulate Bruce Osher, right?
Yes, that's a challenge to switch the instrument from piano to the organ.
A lot of people are afraid of pedal work. And I was afraid too. Were you afraid
Yes,
at the beginning?
I was afraid of it. Yes, very much.
Have you ever cried because of pedal passages
Definitely.
which were difficult to learn?
Definitely, yes. That was my biggest struggle at the beginning. And only later on I understood that the baroque articulation is actually much harder than playing pedal.
I'm always amazed somehow when I see younger students today playing pedal lines without much effort at all. In our Undamari studio, for example, or in Čiurlionys school, we had very gifted students before. But it was not the case for me. It was really, really frustrating.
Never for me. I think it depends on how well your coordination in general is. And it's sort of a thing that you just either have or not. And if you don't have it, you have to develop it. There is no other way.
Do you think, Osha, that it's part of the human evolution, human species, that a next generation can play pedals better than the previous one?
I don't know. That's a good question. That's a question for scientists.
Yes, they should compare our DNA and think if they could isolate the gene for pedal playing.
But actually, I realized now while working, at the Čiurlionys Art School for 12 years already, that nowadays kids are much more gifted than we were actually, and so many have perfect pitch. In my days when I was studying at the same school, we were lucky if in one class we would have like one or two students with the perfect pitch. That was something. And nowadays, you can have like half of the students in your group that have it.
Absolutely. So human species is really definitely moving forward, at least in pedal playing.
But that's not the case with like logical thinking. So I don't think that human mind is developing as fast as their bodies. That's my observation from my experience. Because if you have them like logical assignments, we don't come up so easily.
I know, even for me, mathematical exercises, verbal exercises are more difficult with every passing year, I think. And 2018 will be no different.
Yes. So, what I could suggest for Bruce that, he would not be afraid of playing pedal. That's the main thing is. It will come in time. Maybe not as fast as he would wish, but overall If he will practice daily, I think he will succeed.
Do you think also that Bruce could think about pedals, his 2 feet basically, as additional third hand?
I never think about it myself, but that's a possibility. Why not?
Because usually people play a solo line on the pedals, not the double intervals. Although there are pieces which require octaves and parallel intervals and double pedal lines, right? But even then, it's really possible to play with one hand 2 voices, right? It's possible.
Yes.
So I think it's not far from the truth to say that your pedal work should be treated as an extra hand.
Yes.
What it means then is you simply look at your pedals from the perspective of your hand playing. Imagine if you spent developing your hand technique for several years as a pianist, right? So then suddenly you discover, oh, by the way, I have a third hand here and I can use it. So at first it's really difficult, right? Like
It
playing
is,
with your
yes.
feet. But then little by little, it's like going back to the first grade of piano playing for your feet.
That's right, but no, my suggestion would be, to find a right spot on the organ bench, to play in a slow tempo, and to work in combinations. Never play, especially if you are a beginner and you have trouble playing pedal, never play all the voices together, because in that case you will not have good results.
Do you think that pedal virtuoso master course, uh, pedal scales and arpeggios will be beneficial to Bruce?
Sure, I think we would be beneficial to any organist.
Even for the beginners?
Well, yes, maybe he could not do all the exercises right away and not maybe play them in a fast tempo, but definitely he would find some useful stuff.
I think he has to combine exercises with repertoire too. So, in order to feel the progress and a little bit of joy too, because out of exercises, not too many people can stick with them for a long time and still feel joy, right?
That's
So,
right.
you have to supplement like uh, additional treats to give treats for yourself, like beautiful music instead in addition to bread and salt and butter.
Yes, and for that repertoire, maybe that could be pieces at the beginning which has just like pedal point. There are some pieces like this, especially in Italian music. Think about such composers as Cipolla, for example.
Yeah, 2 notes for the
Yes,
entire piece.
like tonic and dominant, and then back to tonic. Or no, there are also other pieces that don't have so hard pedal part, but has a beautiful, beautiful, melodies.
If you were starting today, also playing pedals and organ, and going back in time, and now you know so much, right? How would you learn differently, or would you learn differently or not?
I don't know, for me, what I realized that if you come to the organ after playing piano for some time, it's easier to start with romantic and later repertoire, where you use basically the legato technique, because it's so similar to what you did on the piano, or more similar. But because I started with Baroque music, it was very hard. I find it very hard, to grasp and digest all that Baroque articulation together with pedal part and playing polyphonic music. That's a challenge for the beginners.
Maybe it's because your teacher was so demanding and gave you quite advanced pieces right away.
Yes, that's true too.
Well, that's understandable because you studied at the higher institution, right? Institution of higher learning, like Lithuanian Academy of Music. So above that, it's only heaven, right? So basically, they needed you to push forward. But for people who are studying for their amusement, you don't have to play Bach's toccata and fugue right away, or even any type of fugue right away. You could play a small three-part chorale prelude, just like Ich ruf zu dir by Bach.
Yes, that's a nice piece. Beautiful and not that hard.
Exactly. So please, guys, apply our advice in your practice. It really helps when you do the steps, when you take to the next level and try to incorporate that in your daily routine. And send us more of your questions, right, Osha?
Yes.
Do you have fun answering them and helping people
Yes,
grow?
it's really fun. And especially it's fun to receive, responses to our answers.
When somebody has applied and it worked out well and they have progressed and see the success, right?
Yes,
Feedback.
that's the most gratifying thing.
Excellent. And guys, don't forget, because when you practice,
Miracles happen.